Suppose you start something against Netflix in competition with Amazon Prime, and you have similar kind of movies content. Please be on mute. So you start selling subscription at a lower price, say 99 rupees per annum. Then automatically you will be able to disrupt Netflix, Amazon if the content is similar. More of convenience is also important, and then comes the product feature. Product has to be homogeneous, good, like the market leader. If the product is not like market leader, then there will be problem.
Yeah, Shishir, in that case, see, in earlier times, you would see that this method was not so popular, correct? Valuation based on the revenue or revenue multiple. But still, there are a lot of businesses we can see in nowadays which are 100 years old, big conglomerate, and they succeeded through that strategy of keeping unique economics alive and focusing on the profits first.
See, what Airtel did in 15-20 years, Jio did in 1 year. I'm Shishir Gupta, founder and CEO of StartupLanes. This is the session for first time angel investors or existing angel investors who would like to know more, have some queries. We can take all your queries. Please feel free to ask.
Hi, Shishir, Saurabh this side. First of all, thanks a lot for having this kind of sessions. So I'm very new to this startup investing and all, and there are lots of time that when I'm looking for the presentations and all, I feel that I don't know or understand the terms or terminologies. Where and how should I make a decision to invest in any kind of a startup? Looking forward to understand what should be my investing horizon, what should be my the gain that I should be making, how to identify those kind of stuffs. So for a beginner, it's very useful if you can talk about the processes of the startup lanes, which process the investing is done, how those decisions are made, a very basic of the entire process.
Okay, sure. See, so I'll explain you how a startup applies, and that will help you understand, how to evaluate. Like we evaluate, you can also evaluate as an investor. So the first step that we do is the startup applies with the basic problem solution, IM, investment memorandum or pitch deck, and then we evaluate whether the market size is big or not. First of all, we have to see the most important thing, that is the market size. If the market is small where the startup is operating, then definitely there will be problems. The growth will be hampered. Like I'll tell you, if anybody is starting an ed tech in the domain for educating people how to avoid or do well in COVID, or if anybody is manufacturing masks, let it be asset light model at this moment, then this market is small now, right? Now the problem and the industry. So you have to see what is the market size. If somebody is manufacturing, there was a device made for the people who snore. That was very cheap, $2 device, and they started marketing, but the customer acquisition cost was coming higher than the revenue itself. So that is not a good idea. So we have to see market size, whether the market is big or not. Then we have to see the industry. What is the growth rate of that industry? If the industry overall is not growing, no matter how good the management is, no matter how good the product is, the performance will be low, because the overall industry is not having good margins, right? Like in the pandemic, edtech was growing very rapidly. Now edtechs are not doing very good, right? That is why investors are also not preferring edtechs at this particular moment. Hybrid model is more of in demand. So we have to understand the trends of the industry. The market has to be really big. Then we have to see how many competitors are there. If no company has become big in that particular domain, then people might think that it is good, or having no competition. No, it is not good. If you don't have any competition for your startup, As an investor, you should not invest into that particular startup, because that says that there is no demand as of now. Demand has to be very high, right? No matter competition is there, good. If you find out some companies controlling a large market share, then also it is very good, provided that your startup is able to disrupt where you are investing. It should be able to disrupt, either in terms of pricing. That means, suppose you start something against Netflix in competition with Amazon Prime, and you have similar kind of movies content, and you start selling subscription at a lower price, say 99 rupees per annum. Then automatically you will be able to disrupt Netflix, Amazon, if the content is similar. More of convenience is also important. And then comes the product feature. Product has to be homogeneous, good, like the market leader. If the product is not like market leader, then there will be problem, right? Because like I'll tell you, there was a good example of Geo coming into similar product like Zoom. They even had same colors, same design, same UIs, everything was same. Only point was, it was freezing. The moment more people joined, it had a lot of problems. So that is why the product did not survive, and that was the reason it did not work well. Otherwise, it was about to disrupt the market, because if the product is good and you provide it for free, then there will be definitely lot of uh, takers for that particular product. Okay, so we have to check industry, we have to check the market size, we have to check the trend, we have to check whether there are competitors in the market, then we have to check the execution capabilities of the team of the startup founders. If the founding team is able to execute and lead the startup, they have the vision, well and good. If you find people doing it part time along with the job and not taking too much interest into it, then there will be a problem. So always there are various points that we check at StartupLanes, and we find out which startup will be good and suitable, and we only showcase 2 3, maximum 4 startups in a month to the investors. So we are not like pushing many startups at one point of time, and that is how StartupLanes has 100% success rates. No startup has been busted, no startup has failed where StartupLanes has investors have invested. I'll quote some example of recent funding. So one of the recent funding that happened was Zapfresh. The startup was doing 72 crore revenue annual, and approximately one CR we did in the initial round, through our angel investors. And recently they have got 50 crore worth of funding commitment from IFB. That is a Goa-based company. I'm sure it's a good brand. Everybody knows about it. So, uh, you know, automatically investors have got good jump after investing, and still we are taking in few investments for Zapfresh. But the ticket size has increased because IFB has come in. So ticket size will be minimum 25 lakhs. And similarly, Burger Singh, we did 30 crores of funding. And first ever chance was given to our angel investors. And, now they are doing very well. They were doing 85 crore revenue at the time they came to us. And, they are rapidly growing at the moment. So such kind of startups, if you invest, we try to give you better startups with good revenues, stability, and such kind of industries where the growth is like more stable, assurance is there, like food industry. We are coming up with a food restaurant chain, which has 8 outlets right now in Delhi, and they are doing 50 crore plus from 8 outlets annual, I'm talking about, which is very good. Now if that company starts franchising, then it becomes really well for the franchisees. uh, they have got more than 1 lakh reviews per outlet. For only one outlet, they've got more than 1 lakh reviews at Zomato, which is huge. So getting 1 lakh reviews, it means they might have served more than 5 or 6 million orders, because out of 50 people, one person will write a review. So if they have served more than 5 million orders, it's huge. It's immense. So we have to check all those data points, and that is how we bring that startup in front of you. We do the valuation, we do the due diligence, we find out the background, we find out lot of things, and then I always try to meet that founder. I call the founder to Goa. I stay in Goa. I call them before taking that startup and understand their vision in a personal meeting, and that's how this thing happens, right? So whatever startup we are bringing, you can rely on our due diligence. We check their financials, we do the due diligence before taking the startups. Other networks I will not comment, but mostly it happens, the practice is that they do the due diligence after the funding commitments are there, but we do even before taking the startup. We don't accept a startup until and unless we are satisfied that this startup is going to do well. So that's most important. And the due diligence, the entire process of scouting an application and taking the startups which are doing only good revenues, that is our strategy. We do have startups which are into less revenue, but those are into different categories. We don't take, ask investors to invest much amount into those kind of startups which are not doing good revenue, right? So I hope that answers your question. Now we can take the next question.
Shishir,
Yeah.
good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Shishir, I am Jaydeep Parmar. I joined StartupLanes WhatsApp group few months back. So I have one fundamental question, which is in line with your previous answer to the question which you just shared. So let's say there are two companies. Company one is focusing on the revenue aspect. So they are burning a lot of cash and they are not focusing on the profitability, but they are just focusing on the customer acquisition and the revenue. And company two, let's say they are more focused about increasing the profit in the first step and then scaling it up. So as a investor, how will you evaluate both of these companies?
Can you come again? You said one company is doing good profit, another is not doing good profit. Is that the question?
Yeah, another company is focusing on revenue and not profit.
Hmm.
So in that case, which one is lucrative for you to invest?
Okay. See, what happens is generally getting profits at initial stage of the startup shows that you are not expanding. I'll tell you the reason why. Suppose you are getting 70-80% profit from a particular product. Now, what would happen? If the product is really good, if there is huge demand, automatically you will start getting competition in the market. How? First of all, your staff will leave and they will start, because you cannot hide anything from public, right? There will be people who will get to know about it. Nothing is hidden now in today's technology world. Your staff will leave, they will start their own business in your competition, and they will become your competitors. That is how everything has happened in the past, right? So else, if there is no competition coming, somebody says I have 70%, 80%, 200% margin, that shows the market is small. And if the market is small, then it is not a good investment. Now another thing is, if you are having, say, growth prospective, let us take an example of a very small startup, say Golgappa outlet. Now, if they start one outlet and if they are getting huge demand, which is pretty obvious, right? Then they should start another outlet. Why would they take out profits and stop? And when you are constantly expanding, doing marketing in new territories, setting up, there will be a bit of capex also. There will be a lot of marketing expenditure, because you are scaling up, you are building your intellectual property. So what I believe is, either you build your intellectual property or you take heavy profits out of it, right? Both the things are not possible simultaneously, for except few cases. Exceptions are always there, but generally, while you are investing into your intellectual property, obviously you have to bear losses instead of profits, right? So what I feel is, profit margin should be good, and it should not be phenomenal. If somebody is getting phenomenal profit margins, again, either it depicts that the market is small, or the competitors will enter this business one day and there will be hyper competition, because the first thing that happens is your own teams or your co-founders, they separate, right? Because they know this is what happens happened in a typical example is Mesonite. or mozonite, whatever you want to call it. There is a lab made diamond, and people who started manufacturing it in initial days, they started selling it as good as the price of the real diamond. So people got to know there was huge margins, and their teams, their co-founders left and started on their own. Now everybody knows what is that, right? So similarly, this happens. If something has lot of high margin, automatically market will adjust. Market forces work automatically. This is the law of economics. And in case the profitability is good, profitability means if somebody is having 60%, 70% profitability, but net margin, they are bearing net loss, then it is okay. It depicts that they are constantly innovating. They are either discounting and passing the value to their customers. So all those things, if you do, you are building an intellectual property. If you are building your customer base, that is going to fetch you in long run. Because in startups, we don't calculate the formula of customer acquisition to immediate revenue. We focus on the formula of customer acquisition to the lifetime value of the customer. That means in the lifetime of the business, how much money that customer will pay you as revenue. Any follow-up question on that?
Yeah, Shishir, in that case, see, in earlier times, you would see that this method was not so popular, correct? Valuation based on the revenue and or revenue multiple. But still, there are a lot of businesses we can see in nowadays which are 100 years old, big conglomerate, and they succeeded through that strategy of keeping unique economics alive and focusing on the profits first.
See, what Airtel did in 15-20 years, Jio did in 1 year, isn't it? So what we know as of now in technology's time, that scaling up today is very fast. It is possible in the world of digital marketing. Overnight you can do business. Older days you have to open up a shop, wait for the customers to pass from their particular area. Only Doordarshan was there, and even before that, even Doordarshan was not there. So no advertising mediums. Even if you are doing anything very good, people were not knowing about it. But in today's time, you can rapidly sell, right? So time has changed, and people who have no knowledge of business at all, they are also able to make money. It's very easy. It's not very difficult if you understand it well. So what I would feel is, typical business, if you are asset heavy, it's not the way to go. Because if you invest into, say, real estate, a typical property will fetch you 5% ROI. If you must have seen ads of, or maybe property dealers might have been approaching you. You buy a bank rented property, ATM, right? And they will, if you buy it for 1 crore, it will fetch you 5 lakh rupees per year, not monthly. But in a business where you are doing the digital marketing, if I'm selling ebook, right? I'm launching my ebook in 4 days, which is called quick startup funding, right? Now I priced it for 99 rupees. My technically my cost is nothing except Amazon is charging 29, 30, 40 rupees something, right? Now, if I start selling it through digital marketing and I incur a cost of 10 rupees per sale, then also if I spend 10 lakh rupees, I will be making 20, 30 lakh rupees, right? That is how CAC is to lifetime value or immediate revenue is calculated, right? So traditional businesses now, it's very difficult for them to even survive. I know a lot of big businesses. There was a printer who used to print cards, wedding cards in this Chavdi Bazaar, Delhi. No, and they are very rich, wealthy people. They have been doing in this since last 60, 70 years. But now they are facing difficulty. They say nobody comes in times of print vista and all. People want to get everything at home. They don't want to go out and go to places like Chavdi Bazaar and go in the traffic, take a rickshaw. Your car will not go there. If you take a rickshaw, you'll have to go through shady places and all. Nobody wants this. If you have the money, you just go through agents, or you go online if you want to save money. That is why we have to find out whether the startup is using the modern approach or not. Those who will not change will definitely be out of the market. This is what I feel. And I have lot many examples. I used to do door-to-door marketing sometime, when I was in college. So there, Delhi, Lajpat Nagar, there is a shop called Style Shoes. I went there to tell them about digital aspects, how they can sell online and all that. And they said, बेटा हमें तो कुछ जरूरत नहीं है, हमारी तो बहुत सेल हो जाती है, और ये डिजिटल वगैरह तो हमें समझ नहीं आता, इससे ज्यादा काम करके क्या करेंगे. 2-3 years later on, their business started falling. Somebody told me that they are looking for some digital agency and all, and later on they also implemented that, because you cannot survive if your competitor is using digital marketing and sending offers. While you wake up, you open up your phone, you get an offer of that particular same shoe which you were buying for 2000 rupees. It is available for 1000 at the same similar shop or same location nearby. Then definitely you will move there. And people are doing this. This is called disruption. You take away somebody's customer, you break their sales process by selling at a cheaper price, and definitely this is going to happen. No, if the product is same. If the product is not same, obviously people go out of the city at factory outlets to buy branded products at discount, right? So that's how. In US also the model is very much proven. People stand out in the lines, in long queues they form, just because the stores will open and they will offer discount. And these kind of promotional schemes always works. People want to save money, and if you provide discounts on good products, they will definitely buy more. And that's how this industry will keep on working, right?
Thanks a lot, Shishir. Very insightful answer, actually.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
thank you so much. So we can go to the next question. Who has the next question?
Mr. Divyajyoti Nayak raised his hand a while ago. So, Mr. Divyajyoti, you can come forward and ask your question.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Divyajyoti ji.
So actually, what's the basics to look during a startup investment? Like when we are looking at a startup before investing, if it's in pre-revenue stage or it's just starting its revenue, so what is the basics to look after?
See, what you should prefer if you are starting the investments is that you should only invest in a revenue-based startup that is doing good revenue, not into pre-revenue, and do not invest into any startup directly. There are certain issues that come up. If you invest directly into a startup, there will be nobody to scout, vouch, validate, and you might be the only investor. Right. Initial days when I started investing myself with StartupLanes was not there. I started investing. So one guy fooled me. I will not take his name. One guy fooled me. He said, "Sir, I cannot take your investment right now. My quota is full. I'm already overcommitted." And he made me believe that I need it. He does not need any investment. And I thought probably, that I should invest. It's something which is the FOMO, fear of missing out, he created. And I called him again and I said, "Dekh lo bhai, kuch ho sakta hai to I can invest 20 lakh rupees." And he took my investment after 7 days, and I was running. And later on I found that I was the only investor there. He completely fooled me out, and the startup shut down later. So this might happen. People are over smart, and that is why we need co-investors. If anything happens, bad happens, nobody knows, right? If the founders cheat, nobody can find out the future. And if people are together, if you are investing in groups through StartupLanes or through any other angel network, at least you have other people together who will be able to fight with you, because nobody goes like I did not fought with that person. 20 lakh rupees gone, and all the paperwork was there. So I cannot legally say anything because term sheet was signed, everything was in place, and in term sheet, nobody writes that, if I am the only investor or, whatever FOMO he created, that was not mentioned. So always, if you are investing through an institution, an angel network, or whatever platform is there, make sure the platform is 90% offline and 10% online, right? This is what we do at Startup Lanes. If I have seen a lot of online platforms not even talking to the founders, they are just creating registrations, showing the startup to the investors are putting in money, and this is all going in drain. It is not like that. You cannot invest into a startup without having entire due diligence done, or if nobody has met that founder, you never know whether they really exist or not, right? It has happened in one case. I'll tell you, not happened ever in this angel investing, but I am telling you one very different case happened with me. One lady came to interview through Zoom, right? We selected her, and later on we got to, she was never starting her camera, not even in the introduction after joining, never. And then later on we got to know that her sister came to the interview and she got selected, and this lady never came for even the interview. And this is what is happening in Zoom time. You don't know who is what. If somebody says my name is Divya Jyoti, and he comes change a screen name and Zoom, you will believe it, right? So that is how we have to be careful. Make sure you are investing through a platform, right?
Yes, got it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. So can we take Pamil Mendiratta ji's question?
Yeah, hi Shishir, how are you?
Hi, good. Thank you so much.
Okay, so my question is, how about the pre-revenue stage startups? And I mean, if nobody is going to support them, and things would not really materialize the way they want.
No,
So how?
we have idea stage fundings as well, but what we ask our investors to not invest too much, right? We have reduced the ticket size. We ask them to invest 50,000 only. In case you find the idea too good, you can invest 1 lakh, 2 lakh, not 10 lakh, 50 lakhs in one startup. So this is, we do showcase idea stage startups as well. And these idea stage startups come with the backing of Startup Lanes. We support them in everything, in franchising, in their business modeling, in launching them, networking. So if we cannot take any random idea. So idea has to be really good. There should be market. We scout everything, and then we provide those opportunities. Like the last one we did was called Taste Heaven Chicken. They have got some, if I do not remember correct, some 5 metric ton or 50 metric ton order already from Dubai for chicken. They are into a specialized chicken breed called Kadaknath chicken, or black chicken is what it is called in Singapore and Malaysia region. So they have this specialized breed, they have the sourcing, and they have the orders. They were looking for some funds to set up everything, and that is exactly what we did. And the round is still going on, so in case anybody is interested, you can definitely commit. You can go to Startup Lanes website, browse through the opportunities which are available in the investing section. You'll find Kadaknath Chicken's demo days video as well as the form where you can comment. So such kind of opportunities do come, but we try to find out that how much chances are there for the success, right? We check the team. The founder is chartered accountant, so he understands number, he's well educated, he's coming from a family who has links and family members engaged in the similar meat business. They have their relatives abroad in Middle East. So all those combinations we check, and that is how we showcase that particular startup. So definitely it's not bad to invest into idea stage, but limit your investment. And if you have to invest say 5 lakh, better to invite 9 of your friends and everybody invest 50,000 instead of you putting in entire 5 lakh, because that becomes risk. You have to mitigate risk as much as possible. So what happens is, if the startup fails, you lose out only 50k, but if it becomes successful, your 50k might become huge amount. Like I'll tell you my example. When we took first round of StartupLanes, our valuation was 3 crores. Right now, at a valuation of 150 crores, you can imagine the investors made 50 lakh rupees if they have invested 50, 1 lakh. So it grew to 50 times. And technically, we started in November 2018, 1st November, and we raised that was end of 2019. So 2020, 21, 22. Not even 3 years completed, 50 times money converted into wealth. But this is not the case with everybody, right? I will not say that every time it happens. Still, we are raising funds. Tomorrow, we are raising another 1 crore, at for StartupLanes. So this might happen. This may not happen. The investors who are putting in now, they may get 20x return, or they may get 100x return, or they may not get any returns. There is always a risk. So nobody can commit or guarantee that there is no risk in startup investing. Anybody says it is assured 100%, no, it is not assured. Risk is always there. And do invest into idea stage, nothing bad about it, but please limit your capital. Do not we take two types of we two emotions, in fact, decide for us, isn't it? We have fear and greed. Fear of missing out induces us to take a quick decision. It should not go out of our hands, and then we make wrong decisions. And sometimes to get more in the greed, we take decisions. So we should be taking rational decisions, nothing in fear, no emotions. If you have to take a decision, this is what I do, and I'm suggesting all of you also. If you have to take a decision, if somebody is building pressure upon you, invest now, time will go, something like that, always take some time, say half an hour, 1 hour, because in emotions we take wrong decisions. So if you take some time, half an hour or 1 hour, then your rational mind will start calculating, and then you will be in a right position to take the right decision, right? There may be cases, some exceptions, where you will be losing out on opportunities. Definitely yes, because you cannot find out which one is genuine and which is just building the FOMO. Thank you. Any follow-up question you have, Paman?
Yeah, so the follow-up question being that if there is a tech startup, let's say, if there is a tech startup and the people that are working are not having a CTO, and they're outsourcing the project, would that be a good investment then?
See, obviously, I will not say it's a bad investment. If a startup is outsourcing the IT work, that's okay. If somebody's specialization is marketing, they should focus on marketing. But if they are an IT company building an AI and they are outsourcing, that is bad, because they are dependent completely upon a third party who will definitely cheat them, right? Generally, what happens is software companies build good codes for others, and they start selling or using those codes for the competitors as well, right? If you Google, you will find uh, there will be more than 500 or maybe 1,000 suppliers who are building Dream 11 similar app for you. You Google Uber clone, you will find Uber clone. Whatever app you find Misho clone, you will be able to. And they are selling it for 25,000, 50,000, anything.
But Shishir, don't you think that the competitors will anyways be there? Once the idea gets hit, there will always be competition.
That is good. Competitors is good. But if you are paying 50 lakh for building a product and your competitor got it for 50,000, then there is a problem, isn't it? So because your competitor will use the rest for 49 lakh 50,000 for marketing, and you will not be having that amount. So that is why Ashnir Grover says first mover does not ever get advantage. Advantage comes when you are third or fourth or fifth or sixth mover, right? First mover, and this is what I also believe. Being the first mover never helps you, because you keep on building the product, you keep on building the market, you keep on convincing the customer, and somebody else will wipe away the entire market, by selling it for cheap, because they have the advantage of time. It's just like Big Boss. People who are coming later after watching everything, they tend to know more, right? So they have advantage. they have knowledge advantage, they know the style. Similarly in cricket also, people who are they have watched, they have set the field, they understood everything, then they are coming, they understand, right? So it's always good to support startups which are very much frugal is the keyword here, and I always believe in frugality. If you are, for me, somebody buying an application for 50,000 rupees building the business is good. I will not say, "Arey, तूने क्या कर दिया, तूने क्या करा, 50,000 में खरीद लिया." No, I will never say that, because I understand the founder is becoming frugal. Obviously, they should have some IP of their own. They should have some customers, or they know how to do digital marketing. Today's time, if you are not able to sell, then your survival of your startup is very much difficult. If you are able to build, does not matter, but you should be able to sell. Building a product is very much different from selling a product. You should be a good salesperson before you become a good inventor or a good innovator of the product. Any follow?
No, thanks. I'm good for now.
Yeah. Okay. So Suresh ji, can we take your question?
Yeah. Sure, Shishir. Thank you. And first of all, congratulations. You have been doing wonderful job at StartupLanes.
Thank you so much.
So my question is about idea stage startup. I am into the business of chronic disease reversal care. So I'm a medical doctor. I've been into chronic disease reversal for 20 years now. So basically what I am competing with is like Sugar Free, Healthify Me, Practo, and all these service providers. So what I have built is, we developed a model where like we can reverse diseases like diabetes, thyroid, PCOD, and all these conditions. And I built a team of health coaches. Okay, we have close to 200 of them right now across the country and even in abroad. So we developed a specific, what do you say, SOP, right? Standard operating procedure, wherein
So
like,
this is you want to invest in a startup, or you want to raise funds? In case this is a
I'm
fundraising
actually
question.
thinking of, sorry for not giving the introduction. It's about like idea stage startup that I would like to discuss with you.
So that AMA we do separately. This is for only for people who are interested in investing.
Okay.
Right? So that
just
we do on Tuesdays.
Yeah, ask me anything means I thought like I can discuss
Yeah,
this idea.
this is only for investors.
Yeah,
Saturdays
sure.
we do for investors. Tuesday you can come and we'll be happy to take this question.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So can we take the question of Prasham Goelji?
Yeah, hi sir. It's pleasure talking to you and listening to those whole. I just joined the StartupLanes very recently, and it's amazing. Like I should have joined it much earlier. It's really informative. Okay, so my question is, can you tell a bit about your scouting process? How do you basically scout the new talent? And you think there are so many startups coming up in the country. What are the objective criteria that you look into in identifying that this can add more value than the others?
Yeah, in fact, we have transparently mentioned this step-by-step process also. There are 25 steps that we have mentioned at our website. I'll quickly try to share that screen also, so that it gives a more visual idea. Just let me share my screen, and then I will explain that as well. So one moment. This is, I hope my screen is visible. So
yes, it is.
We have explained the entire system of what is bootstrapping to why do startups raise funds, everything here. And beside that, we have mentioned the process. This is this is for the founders, but technically this is what we do. First, understand the fund requirement, then preparation of document, then eligibility, then searching for investors that they do, obviously through us. And in that, we have shown everything, how much they should raise, how much, what kind of investors are there. I've taken this from my book, which is, about to be published in 4 days from now. It's called Quick Startup Funding, available at Amazon. And this is the process which I was about to tell you. This is the process. So first, they prepare entirely. Then we check their pitch decks. Then we check their financial productions, and mandatorily, if they are coming for the first time of raise, we do all those documents and we do due diligence in this process. In the scouting, what we do is we entirely check the market size, we check the we check the industry, we check the trends, whether the industry is growing, we check the disruption element, whether your competitors are selling at a higher price or not. If you're not able to sell lower than your competitors, we check the quality, we check the product, we check the founder's team. I invite the founder to go to meet and check their vision. I understand how much they want to grow. And most importantly, the most important factor that we check is whether the startup can become unicorn in next 3 to 5 years or not. Now, for becoming a unicorn, approximately the valuation has to be $1 billion. Approximately in INR, you can say 7,500 crore to 8,000 crore valuation, not the revenue, right? So there was a lot of confusion over it. One minister said, revenue 8,000 crore makes a unicorn. No, it is about the valuation. Now, there is a EV is to valuation multiple. Enterprise value is to valuation multiple is there, which is calculated on the basis of revenue. So some startups like when Burger Singh came to us, it was doing 85 crores. Net something was hitting their bank was around 49. That was GMV, 49 CR annual, and they got 3x max valuation multiple. That is, if a startup is doing say 1 crore, and if they are getting 3x multiple, depends entirely upon industry, team, lot of things are there. So this is an important factor, but not the final one. So please understand, do not rate a startup on those bases only. But yes, on later stage, if a startup is doing very good revenue, you can have a bracket range. So according to that bracket range, we can check and we find out whether this startup will be able to do that kind of, suppose a startup has this 2x, very simple one. So that means in next 3 to 5 years, they have to generate a revenue of 4,000 crores. That is how their valuation will become 8,000 crores. Suppose the startup has 4x, that means they have to do a top line of 2,000 crores so that they can have a valuation of 8,000 crores. So we have to check mandatorily whether this startup will be able to become unicorn or not. And another thing that we check mandatorily, necessarily, is whether they will be able to raise funds in the next round at a higher valuation or not. Because if not, then our existing investors will be stuck, right? And they should get at least 4 to 5 opportunities of giving exit to their investors. That is the most important factor we have to check at StartupLanes. Because if investor is not, this is not like stock market where you have everyday opportunity to exit. This investing gives you huge opportunities, but not every day. So we have to make sure that exit opportunities are there and the valuations are not very high. Imagine of a colony where plots are there. If there are 100 plots and one plot, every plot is selling for 300 square meter for say 1 crore. One plot is there which is selling 300 square meter for 2 crores. Then it will be really difficult to sell that plot, right? We have to make sure everything comes into that particular range. If that is not coming into that range, then this will be difficult for the next round of funding. So we have to check the entire future. We do the planning of 3 to 5 years and find out how will we give exit to our investors, whether through IPO, SME IPO I'm talking about, or through venture capital, or through next round of angel funding. We have to make sure that the investors get exit, because if investors do not get exit, then definitely this entire process will stop. Investors should invest, they should make money, take out and invest into more startup using that money. That is how the entire ecosystem will keep on growing. It's very difficult to if the investor is stuck for long term, say 5 to 7 years, then it will be very, very difficult for the entire ecosystem of Indian startups to survive even, right? And investors getting an exit in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years is good for the industry. Any follow-up question you have?
Yeah, I have two questions. First is regarding the slowing down of startup market these days. Do you think it's real that the startup market is slowing these days, and there are not many opportunities currently as they were, let's say, last year or during the COVID period? Second question is, going forward, what do you think is going to be startup scenario in tier 2, tier 3 cities of the country? Are we looking forward for a scenario where the startups will move out from the tier 1 cities and move towards the tier 2, tier 3 cities?
Okay, the first question is, I don't think so that this scenario is going down. So I assume that you're talking about funding into startups.
Yes.
Not slowing down at all, because I know lot of new funds coming up, lot of new funds coming ever than before this. More and more funds are coming to India. After Shark Tank, everything has changed, right? Earlier, it was very difficult for us to explain what is angel investing, what is a startup, what is disruption. But now people understand themselves. We are receiving queries from investors now and then every day. I want to invest into startups, which was not there otherwise. There was a time when we started, people used to think startup investing is a scam, right? Till now also there are people who think startup investing is a scam, but almost 80% market has changed because of Shark Tank. Mass awareness has been there, and a lot of new funds are coming to India. Money is huge, and even if 1% of Indian stock market money comes to startups, that will be massive. This is what I believe, because here the churn is very high. Your turnaround of exit and investing into more startups will be more. By the time you reach stock market, the multiple goes 21 times, 25 times, sometimes 50 times, 100 times. But here it is, you are catching a startup at 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, maximum 7 times. Nobody invests randomly into startups. So we evaluate, we find out the valuations, and if you are investing at the right valuation, then automatically you get the right kind of exit, and opportunities are very much there. People are investing. Who's talking? May I request you to be on mute, and let me answer your second question. So second, you asked about what is the story of tier 2. See, like I moved to Goa, we changed our headquarters from Noida to Goa. There are certain problems of each city, right? Here it is very difficult to find out office space because the culture is not there. Second problem is difficult to find out the staff to work, right? And the same story will be there with every tier 2. Suppose you go to Bareilly or to Aligarh or to Agra, these kind of cities, you will find challenges. In Agra, I might be, it is surprising that the office space is there still. They have the commercial organized areas because it's an old city into entrepreneurship. But there are tier 2 where you will not even find office space, people who will be able to work, or their communication level. People in tier 2 are speaking good communication. They work for Infosys, TCS, and other companies. So for startups, it becomes really difficult. People in the pandemic, a lot of people moved to the hills, to Goa, to a lot of places, but that is only for the organization which are 2, 3 people, 1 person organization, 2 people, small organization, they are able to survive, but others, they are moving back. Very difficult to operate from tier 2. Ecosystem is not there, commercial offices are not there, price may be high, or everything, internet facility or other things, your client may not come there. So a lot of difficulties are there. In case if you ask me, somebody wants to start a business in metro like Bangalore or Mumbai or Delhi, for business, obviously I would recommend you to start in Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore. But for your personal life, obviously what would be the answer. So depends entirely upon in which stage of career you are, and if what kind of business you are doing. Like for our business, where everything is online, we are able to flourish. In fact, after moving our headquarters to Goa, we have scaled up 10-15 times. So that works very well for us, because we don't have many physical meetings, people coming to our office. It is not required. Even if we start meeting people, we will be able to meet 1 or 2. Ours is a mass business where we need to connect with hundreds of people every day. So such kind of businesses where technology is prevailing, that there you can definitely go and move to tier 2, tier 3, wherever. But if it requires a lot of staff physically be placed, your customers to come, very much difficult. International airport will be a big challenge. Your customers will not come. Locals will be a problem. If too many people come, they create nuisance. Sometimes electricity becomes a problem, sometimes internet becomes a problem. So I will not recommend anybody to start from tier 2 if you want to if you are want to grow rapidly. Right now challenges are there, but if your business allows, why not? Because health is also important. If you are starting from remote places, then definitely you stay healthy, because these cities are getting more and more polluted. Any follow-up question?
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. So anybody else has a question? Then I can take the questions from the chat. Okay, so there is one question here. And as an investor wants to opt equity or interest as ROI. So see, this depends entirely upon your choice, taste, and preference. If you are going for interest as an ROI, obviously you will get less return on your capital, because as an interest income maximum, what they can give you is 12%, 14%, or maybe 18% per annum, not more than that, right? But in equity, you can get 10x, 15x, 20x, or zero of your capital. Nobody knows. But so depends entirely upon your choice. What I suggest is you can invest into startups, first take the equity, become the shareholders, and then you can have some interest income coming also. Instead of putting your money in fixed deposit for 5%, you can put here for 12% to 14%, in case you are satisfied with the growth of that startup. Initially start with investing say 2, 3, 4, 5 lakh rupees in the equity, and then later on, if you feel that the streamline is good, the revenues are coming, then definitely why not? You can invest on interest also. They can take debt legally, but otherwise no startup can take money from any individual. It's not allowed. Only they can take from NBFC, but if you are a shareholder, then they can take money. Another question is, when can exit happen? Is there a possibility to redeem investments midway? Possibility and cost, yes, you can definitely redeem midway. It's not called redemption. It's just like selling off your shares to somebody else, right? So if the exit opportunity is not coming from the startup side for while raising fund, what happens is there are so many investors who miss out the original round. They obviously look for that particular opportunity to come later on, and they may miss out because they are outside India, they were not able to come back, or they were traveling, or the fund did not came to their account on time, or the startup oversubscribed that moment. Nobody knows. There could be any different reasons. So that time you can contact StartupLanes. We can find out from our community of investors and ask them if anybody is interested in taking that equity. Transaction fee only 2%, so it's not a big load. It's very nominal fee. Not many legal charges, nothing. Only a swift process, 5,000-6,000 rupees is what total expenditure will be of chartered accountant and all, and this is how you can transfer your shares. Another question is, when a startup fails, what is the possibility of fraud and legal recourses, if any? See, if a startup fails, automatically they cannot do a criminal or cheating kind of attempt, because there is law in the country. I don't want to say nobody wants to go jail. So they will not do such kind of practices. If the startup fails, it will fail due to bad execution of the idea, or over discounting, or if they fail to retain or acquire new customers. The number one reason what I feel is failing to acquire new customer takes you to shutdown of the startup. If you are not able to acquire customers without deep discounting or something, or if you don't have profit margins, then definitely you are tend to fail, and this problem will prevail. You cannot do anything on that part, right? So all you have to do is you have to just keep a track, and if that goes well, if the startup is doing fine, then why not? Go ahead. Okay, the one more question is there, and then we can end this session. So the question says, will we opt to invest in traditional startups like pharma, medical devices, and FMCG? No, there's either they are traditional businesses or they are startups. They cannot be traditional startups like pharma, right? If they are just opening up a pharma chemist shop, then I will not say that it is a pharma business, because sorry, pharma startup. So it has to be a startup. Startup means some innovation. You need to generate value, and let me define that innovation for you. That is most important thing to understand. Uh, it's more than the product. You need to innovate in pricing. That is most important. If you are able to bring the same product which a market leader is bringing in the market at a lower price, then definitely your startup will have a lot of demand, lot of takers will be there. So if you are not able to do that, if you are selling 10 rupees medicine for 10 rupees, then it is not, or you are just discounting 10%, what others are doing, you are also doing the same. This is not startup. Startup should rapidly grow. It should have scope. If the scope is not there, then no point. And it should be something of your own. If you are just buying and selling like a shop which does not have scalability, then it will be a problem. Another question came: if the startup is not performing well as an investor, how we can control the activities of a startup? So I will tell you the process that StartupLanes follow. So we have the contract with the startup, wherein if the startup is not doing well, if the business is falling down, if the profitability is reducing, they need to form a community with us and the investors together. And one person among the investors could be chosen who will lead the community, lead this entire community and take the discussion forward, discuss what to do, what not to do, and accordingly, as per the voting and agreement with the investors, they have to do things. So at the right time, if you get to know that the startup is not doing well, if their revenue is falling every month, so within 3 months or 4 months, you take action, you understand everything and give them suggestions. If they require any kind of consultant, appoint a consultant, find out, we can do everything, right? So if they are the siphoning of money or something happening, you can still find out there and then, and then you can file a complaint, and everything is there. So that is the process, is to keep a right track, keep asking the founders what are they doing, and we have the contract with them. They are bound to present everything at the last weekend of the month to the investors. But if investors don't come, this is what we have seen, investors themselves don't come for the meetings. So if they are not coming for the meeting, then founders will also don't come. They will also feel nobody takes interest, why should we waste our time? So if you are taking keen interest, if you are coming to the meetings, if you are asking them what is happening, what is not, then definitely they will provide you every update, and you will find out if anything is happening bad. You will find out, and they are bound to give you all the documents, their financial statements monthly, so you can check if anything is happening wrong. You can definitely create an objection there, right? So I think the time is up, and there's no other question pending. We can close this session. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll do another of this session one more time, maybe next Saturday we'll try. And thank you so much for coming in. uh, and please invest into startups. If you still have any kind of question, kindly contact our team. They'll be happy to support you.